Welcome to the Newton Town Council meeting of October 15th, 2025. If we could please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Pat, can we please have a roll call?
Yes, Mr. Coos,
Here.
Mr. Dixon,
Here.
Mrs. Diglio,
Here.
Mrs. Teets,
Here.
Mayor Lafois.
Here. In accordance with the Open Public Meetings Act, notice of this regular meeting was given to the two newspapers of record and posted on the official bulletin board on January 6, 2023. So we will first have what we're really all here for tonight is an oath of office.
Born and raised in Newton, New Jersey, Patrolman Posey is a proud product of the local community. He attended Merriam Avenue School, Holstead Middle School, and graduated from Newton High School in 2018. Continuing his dedication to public service, he earned his associate's degree in criminal justice from County College of Morris in 2020. Patrolman Posey began his career with the town of Newton in March 2019 as a telecommunicator. In January 2025, he furthered his commitment to law enforcement by attending the Morris County Public Safety Training Academy. His interest in public safety was solidified early on, attending the New Jersey State Police Trooper Youth Week Class 103 in the summer of 2016. He brings dual experience in emergency services and emergency management, having successfully completed the New Jersey Emergency Manager 1 program in 2022. Outside of the police department, Patrolman Posey is an active and passionate volunteer. Since 2014, he has served with the Newton First Aid Squad. He started as a cadet and worked his way up to his current leadership position as operations manager, where he oversees the day-to-day functions of the squad. When he's not in uniform, Patrolman Posey can be found on the soccer field, serving as a head coach and mentoring young athletes. Whether guiding his team to victory or helping them grow through challenges, his dedication to youth and community remains at the forefront of everything he does. Mayor?
I, Brandon Posey,
I, Brandon Posey,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support
that I will support
the Constitution of the United States
the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
and the Constitution of the State of New Jersey,
that I will bear true faith
that I will bear true faith
and allegiance
and allegiance
to the same
to the same,
and to the governments established
and to the governments established
in the United States
in the United States
and in this state,
and in this state,
under the authority of the people,
under the authority of the people,
and that I will faithfully,
that I will faithfully,
impartially,
impartially,
and justly perform
and justly perform
all of the duties
all the duties
of the office of patrolman,
of the office of patrolman,
according to the best of my ability,
according to the best of my ability,
so help me God.
so help me God. I mean, the quickest speech I possibly can make. First, I want to thank you all for being here today. Your support means the world to me. I want to begin by expressing my deepest gratitude to my family for their unwavering encouragement over the years. This dream has been a long journey, and you guys stood by me every step of the way. Many of you know this didn't happen for me overnight, but today we get to celebrate that. I also want to thank the town council, Mr. Russo, the chief, for giving me this incredible opportunity to continue serving my community. 11 years ago, when I first began my journey here in the town, I knew this is where I wanted to be. I knew law enforcement was my true calling, giving me the ability to help my town in so many ways. Newton has been not only the town I wanted to serve, but the town that raised me and gave me so much. Before I finish, I'd like to give a special thanks to Lieutenant Michael Wolanski for giving me not one, but two great outstanding mentors. He gave me Sergeant Stephen Schauger and Patrolman Garrett Armstrong, who both showed me what excellent policing looks like and taught me the importance of always staying sharp. I am truly grateful to both of you for helping me to get me where I am today. This is a tremendous honor, and I look forward to the years serving this town.
Real quick, Obviously, it's my honor to officially welcome and congratulate Brandon Posey as the newest member of the Newton Police Department. Brandon's journey is one that truly represents what it means to serve your community. Born and raised right here in Newton, he is a proud product of our schools, our programs, and our town. From his early involvement with the Newton First Aid Squad to his work as a dispatcher here with the Newton Police Department, he has consistently shown a deep commitment to helping others. He brings with him not only valuable experience in emergency services, but also a strong sense of leadership and community spirit. His continued dedication, whether through public safety, volunteering, mentoring young athletes, speaks volume about his character and his devotion to making Newton a better place. Patrolman Posey is a fine example of the next generation of police officers, individuals that care deeply about their town and the people in it. On behalf of the entire department, I want to congratulate him on this well-deserved appointment and welcome him proudly to the ranks of the police department.
Ms. Russo, any other comments?
No, just comments and then
Yep.
just some photos.
Yep.
there. That's all.
All right, Councilman Coos.
Yes, Patrolman Posey, pleasure to meet you. Welcome to the town. Hopefully you find it to your liking and that you can find a way to work with all these fine young men and women on the department. In all seriousness, I've had the pleasure of knowing Brandon since he was 5 years old. He was this tall, I was this tall. And in that time, it's been a great honor and pleasure to watch him develop as a young man. Not only professionally, but in all of the endeavors that he engages in. He's my right-hand man at the squad, and I'm happy to see him embark on his next journey here. As everyone is here, we have members of the police department, fire department, EMS, and members of your own soccer team who came here to support you in your endeavor tonight. So, congratulations and welcome aboard.
Thank you.
Councilman Diglio.
Well, like Councilman Kush, I have known him for a long time, but even longer since I've known him since he was born. And he was my cadet. I trained him as a cadet and he did extremely well. And I knew he was going to go places from a long time ago. I am very proud of him and I wish him the best and I congratulate him on this. Thank you so much for being who you are.
Thank you, Sam.
Councilwoman Teets.
Just big congratulations. I probably have known you since 5 years ago. Maybe. I don't want to quote how old you are because I'm not 100% sure. But it is great to see the next generation of officers coming on. And, it's good to see a hometown. And I mentioned this at the last school board meeting that, you were going to be sworn in and, a lot of people had nice things to say. And quick story, I don't think you heard it when I was two council meetings ago. I was talking about the bag program that we did at ShopRite, Bagging for Hunger. And I always thought I knew a lot of people, but everybody knew Brandon. And if they didn't know him, they knew his mother. So, but it was just a really good interaction. And I'm sure your rest of your career will be the same. And wish you good luck and stay safe.
Superintendent Dixon.
Yes, Brandon, obviously, congratulations. It's great to see homegrown officer continue their service. I've known you for a while now, dealing with you with the squad, and you've just always been dedicated. You've shown leadership. You're a great example. So I'm very happy to welcome you to the ranks of the police department.
Patrolman Posey, official welcome, right? We know that you've already demonstrated commitment and dedication to the town through all of the efforts that have been described tonight. But even in the time that you've been on the force and the department, we've already seen you in action. The officers before you have already entrusted you in the work that you have demonstrated and continue to demonstrate. I don't have to tell you that you join a storied history of wonderful officers who are dedicated to this community. And I know that you will continue to make your family proud and our community proud. When one makes a decision to give of themselves to be of service to their community. That is no small dedication and commitment and act of valor. And I also do want to recognize your family and your loved ones who have supported you in all of your efforts to get to this point. And I have no doubt that you will continue to grow in experience and in skill and in leadership and capabilities, definitely under the current leadership and everyone that's in this room and those that couldn't make it into a long future here. I hope that 20 some years from now, you'll be retiring in the same badge number as your one and only department here in the town of Newton. And just want to thank you for your long service already and your dedication and commitment to the service that you'll provide going forward. So welcome, congratulations. So we're going to take a break to get some official pictures. And hey, I think we're ready to continue. And so we have a couple of discussion items this evening. We have our municipal engineer, Corey Stoner from Harold Pello and Associates. The council's received several communications. So we will go into them now. How are you, Mr. Stoner?
Good. How's everybody?
Good.
So we've been working with Corey's office on some of these items, and we're to the point where we're looking for council direction on some of them. So you all have copies of the memos that Corey prepared for me, and see what direction you want us to go in.
So Corey, let's talk about the 2 4-way stops
Yep.
At Clinton and Moran first, and then we'll do Merriam and Patterson.
Yep. Well, basically, this started from a request that we received for the other one first. Merriam Avenue and Patterson was the first request. And then talking with Tom, we agreed that a good option, while we're doing it, that we should look at the Moran and East Clinton. Okay. And I'll start with the Moran and East Clinton one. This is an intersection I personally have felt for years it should be a 4-way stop. And I find myself stopping in every direction when I go through anyways. But a 4-way stop, which called a 4-way stop, but the technical term now by MUTCD standards, which is the widely accepted engineering practice of manual on uniform traffic control devices. It's for engineering, but also your police department uses it at all times with the traffic control devices and procedures. They call it an all-way stop. Same difference for the most part, but it's an all-way stop. For an all-way stop, the MUTCD's current edition provides guidance. They list a number of warrants that you can satisfy that help justify, but they do say it's guidance, a guidance document that gives you some warrants that you can review and determine if they're applicable to the intersection that you're looking at. Okay, when it's all said and done, it comes down to whether or not it mentions multiple times it's engineering judgment, whether or not it's warranted, and that's where they make it a requirement that for the town, before you make a 4-way stop, that your municipal engineer does a report and does a recommendation to the council for the consideration. Okay, the warrants the main warrants they have are I'll just list them real quick: crash experience, sight distance that exists, transition to signal control, 8-hour traffic volumes, or there's a catch-all other factors. The crash experience, it's surprising it's not a high traffic accident area. I mean, there might be a lot of misses, that don't actually come up in the records. But when you look at the traffic accidents for a 5-year period, we only had 4 accidents that are actually reported at that intersection. So just on its own, crash experience, I don't believe it qualifies. The next one is sight distance, I think does qualify. If you go to that intersection, 3 out of the 4 legs has some type of sight obstruction. It's either the parking lots or parking areas are very close to the intersection. There's landscaping, trees. Where that comes into play is that you come to an intersection, you need to be able to think ahead of time, look to your left, to the right, to try to see if there's another vehicle coming. That's going to be, if you're going to not have a stop control. When it's a stop control situation, everybody stops. You have a chance to look left and right, and it makes a safer situation if there's sight distances issues. The transition to signal control, that's when you're going to go to a traffic signal down the road and you're going to do a stop control first and then go to a signal. That's really not applicable. 8-hour volumes, I did not do a traffic volume a long analysis for this intersection, but I don't believe it's necessary. Due to the fact that the traffic, they really look at an intersection. They want to make sure both legs of the intersection or all four legs are approximately the same type of volume. And if you're familiar with Moran Street and East Clinton Street, they're close. Yeah, it's not like you have 5,000 cars on one leg and you got 500 cars on the other leg. Yeah, they're very similar volumes. The warrant, the other factors, a couple items they talk about is a need to control left turn conflicts. Intersection that includes two residential streets of similar design and operation characteristics. And C, where pedestrian and bicycle movements support installation of all-way stop. I believe you satisfy a number of items. One, the traffic, the intersection site distance. I also believe you have a similar traffic volumes, and then you have the pedestrian element, to it as well. And I think, and then it just makes just good sound judgment for anybody who's familiar with that intersection. I think a four-way stop would be, you'd be well served to have a four-way stop at that intersection. So it's my recommendation that you go to an all-way stop. I keep interchanging four-way and all-way stops, but I think it's still my recommendation. But to do that, and the reason we're here is to, you will need to adopt an ordinance to put that on your books to make that enforceable.
Correct. So that's the discussion before the council tonight, particularly on all four of these. But I mean, I think we could take them one-on-one. If there's any additional questions for Corey about, I think everybody's familiar with that intersection. We were just down for the ribbon cutting at the new motorcycle shop, and between Social Security being there and all the other businesses, it's just constant traffic flow. And I mean, Michelle and I saw that firsthand.
With the inspection station, that brings out of town residents as well. And I've witnessed it with football games down at Memory Park, or the baseball games that used to and will someday start occurring again down at the field. But I think it's definitely warranted, because that is
I think that intersection, you get a couple of different time periods you have during the day when people are, the businesses, the offices there, they're operational. You have people at lunchtimes, people are moving around.
Mhm.
You have your just normal school traffic, and then you got your recreation, and that's just not during the week for recreation. You have the weekends as well. So
definitely agree with the near misses.
Any other, are there any concerns with making that four-way?
I think we should. Because with the games and everything that are going on, I've seen people blow through the stop signs on Clinton as I'm coming down Moran. And we're gonna have the same problem on Marion Patterson.
now
We'll get to that one next.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
doing that one next, but that one I've seen even more. And with the children there, I think for safety purposes, I think it's necessary.
Anybody opposed to the suggestion of our engineer? Okay.
The only piece I'm gonna add is just seeing that there's a consensus. One of the pieces from the community that we've heard recently is that there's a lack of education noticing about the yield sign change on High Street. So whatever change ends up being made, just make sure that we have proper extended notification of people traveling in that area, because people who are muscle memoried to going down Moran and making that left, proper notice, because it's been like that forever. There's a pretty substantial change.
Yeah, and I think this one we have control over. The other one,
Right,
being the
right.
counties, we didn't. I think we were all surprised at the same time, but Corey, do you have any recommendations about notifying the public of the change?
well, you can always do, your notices on your website and Facebook and things of that nature. I think that's valuable information. But I also would propose the signage a little different. When we go to a four-way stop, you have your stop signs today on, like East Clinton has a stop sign today. I would propose that we put stop signs on both sides of the street. As you're coming down Moran or coming up either direction, you put one on the right side like you normally do, but you put an extra sign on the left side. So people, they have two signs that are, staring at you that you have to stop. Okay, and we can do, and if available, I would also recommend, if we can do a message board or something of that nature, telling people to change, to change traffic movements and to stop ahead, at least for a time period for a couple of weeks beforehand, it's just to notify them. I think it's a good idea.
Okay. Tom, was there any concerns from a police department or anybody else with regards?
PD and Public Works, just in case you have a question.
Any concerns from our Public Works Department as well? Okay, just wanted to confirm that. All right, so I think we have consensus to move forward. All right, so let's go to Patterson and Merriam. Ooh,
Okay.
Yes.
this one's a long time coming.
Yes.
No, I don't even know why this wasn't originally, but
This one, I think you got the speeds of people, the traveling public along Patterson are a big deal, especially coming down 206, coming down to Patterson into the intersection. I think the speeds, approaching the intersection, you have school, so you have the pedestrian traffic. That's an obvious one. I wrote in here, no sight distance is better, but actually I drove it again just last week and I probably modify it a little bit. When you come up Merriam Avenue, you are at a stop control, you look to the left, there is landscaping from, the residential property on the
Mhm.
corner. Maybe not as critical because you're already at stop control on that side, but I believe, you can make the argument for, the speed, the pedestrians, the sight distance. I think that this one's another obvious one for me.
yeah, and I know several of the council members live in that area. But I mean, I've seen even our crossing guards struggling with the traffic that goes through there. And then certainly recently with the construction and things that have been going on, some additional
Gas company.
issues at that corner and dismissal in morning is always, I
One-
think, one accident away from a tragedy happening there.
In that intersection, I would also propose, we'll double the signs. I know it's a little, obnoxious a little bit, but I think if put signs on both sides of the street. We'll put a stop ahead sign a little bit further because you have the geometry of both, both directions. It's not a straight shot. You have the curve, the horizontal curves of the roadway. We'll put a sign just to notify that's a stop ahead. So,
And that's a
Curve.
blind
Yeah.
curve and a hill.
Curve,
Yeah,
stop
from
ahead is
Patterson.
very
yeah,
important.
exactly.
coming from 206 on Patterson.
Yeah, 206.
Matt, Michelle, any comments?
When you were talking about the sight distance with you, so I'm really directionally challenged. So Merriam Avenue runs.
The school.
Or south.
Okay, so if you're at the Merriam Avenue School and you stop and then continue on to Merriam?
Going south towards.
Yeah, so the house that's on that corner of the other half of Merriam, they have this time of year when their tree is fully bloomed and bushes and all that, it's very limited.
I think that's one of them.
Right, okay, that's the one.
I forgot about that one. Yeah, I've known the road so well. I didn't go back out to look at that one. And then I drove the other day. I'm like, wait a second, there's, so I will, before I do the ordinance, I'll update my report to put the sight distance at that corner because I did notice that, so.
And I think a lot of us that live in that area, we do already make it a four-way stop. For the
Yeah.
most part, because there
Yeah.
have been a lot of those calls, so it's a long time coming, and it will definitely help. They have different sporting events too at Merriam Avenue,
Mhm.
like field hockey and stuff, so.
I'm not sure that all the council members know that the town did do some signage work along Merriam Avenue this year, basically starting at Pine Street up to the school. And we've had to put new signs. For instance, at Pine Street, they had a four-way stop, which had the big signs for, the accident many years ago. We replaced those signs because they were losing their reflectivity. The signs were dull, they have reflectivity standards at night. You can barely see them as a stop sign. So we replaced those signs. And then we also did some school zone signs and then no parking signs. So we try to make the safety, better along Merriam Avenue as a whole. And I think they'll always stop here. I'll help that too.
Any other council comments around that? Again, from the police department's perspective,
Definitely in favor. Yes, hit it all, so.
Public
Good
Works.
question. Can the four-way stops be enlarged like they are at Pine?
That can be.
Because
Mhm.
I was driving down the road just the other day and this car just went right through this and didn't even stop.
One.
Coming down Miriam, just went right through the stop and just kept going. And if I hadn't slammed on the brakes, I would have had an accident.
I was proposed, what I was going to do on the new roads, I was going to put sometimes you'll put a larger sign on the right side and put a smaller sign on the left side, just so you don't have two big signs.
Okay.
But we can enlarge the signs on Merriam as well. It won't hurt. Normally it's a 36 by 36. Yeah, they just if it was a square, it'd be normal sign is 36 by 36, 3 feet by 3 feet. The larger signs like you see down at Pine Street, that's a 48-inch sign by 48, so it's a bigger sign.
Just as long as it doesn't also include, I mean, it create another like sight line obstruction. But
I'll look at that.
yeah, okay.
And then we'll look at the actual location. We'll make sure it's, you know, what a large 48-inch sign in front of somebody's front yard is not
Correct.
really happy. Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
In line with the public notification comment from Miranda East Clinton, there is a demographic difference between these two locations where East Clinton is a little more commercial, really limited residential, where this is almost exclusively residential.
Yep.
I'm wondering if for public notification purposes, if maybe we could just do like a targeted mailing campaign for those in the close proximity to that intersection. Just in case they have any thoughts ahead of time before we do it, and then like, you know, we had the one-way change and then someone from the axillary street that we didn't think of necessarily came and said this impacted them unfairly, so just take it this way, we capture everyone, they know what's happening and give them time to accommodate our plans.
Public Works,
Like you said before, those two intersections were pretty much two places we treat as before we stop.
correct. Yeah. I know Michelle and I have driven in the same car coming from events and we're like, yeah, we're just gonna stop here because we're not sure that person oncoming is gonna stop. Create our own four-way, yeah. Okay, so consensus on both of those, Mr. Russo, move forward for an ordinance change. Let's go to West End Ave next. Because this one is really a county situation that we would be providing some input on if the council feels, right? So.
Yep. Today, West End or County Route 519, it falls under Sussex County, jurisdiction. It's posted at 35 mile an hour today. Right. The resident, one resident, very vocal resident, has brought the issue to light, to surface again. Not again, but he did this time about the fact that he's worried about. I got the feeling it was more pedestrian, related, because there is no sidewalks along that section of the roadway. When I drive that section of road, 35 doesn't seem bad when you drive, when you're coming into town. But when you put the element of the fact that you have no sidewalks and you have to have the pedestrians, anybody that walks there has to walk in the street, that brought a little bit different light to, to the surface for me. So reviewing that, and that's the major aspect of this is that the county would have to do a study to show that it's warranted.
Right.
And some of the warranted it comes down to the number of residential uses along a certain section of roadway, like the roadway, how many houses, how much pedestrian traffic is anticipated. But the only way you can do that is through a study, and it's a county road. It's not the town's job to do that study. It's a county's jurisdiction. County Engineer Department said they didn't have any objection to doing a study, except for they have so many of these to do that if they're going to prioritize this, they wanted the town's a resolution of support from the town to have the study done. That doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be made, but it's backing the county's effort to do the study.
So Corey, from when it goes from High Street to basically the Frieden Township line, right? Other than the church, it's all residential. And yes, the mitigating factor is that there aren't any sidewalks.
No.
I guess my question is, on most of the county roads, what's the average speed limit?
It's probably the lowest is north 35.
35.
To a town setting. If you get into a town setting, they do drop to 25. Maybe 25. I think Sparta Avenue, you come into Sparta Avenue, that's probably, I think that's 25. Once you get past, the Hicks Avenue and you start to come in, I think that drops down in that area. And
Yep.
it's not unnormal, it's not uncalled for to have the 25 in the county road, but they don't normally like to do it.
I've started to drive that road more recently and 35 doesn't seem fast, but it's the other people that are going 55. And I know that our police department have been starting to, or have been there more frequently. And I'm not sure if behaviors have started to change, but again, I'm kind of just wondering, is it the 35 or is it the people that are doing 55? And if you drop it to 25, you're still gonna have people doing 55. The county's got to do a study. Just wanted to have a conversation about how strongly we feel and what does it mean if a county does a study on a town road, like what is there?
I think my response I think when Tom brought it to me, I think I told you as well, I drove it, I'm like 35 doesn't seem bad. But when you start to put the element of the pedestrian and a lack of sidewalks, I think that does have some warrants. And basically what they'll do is they'll do a analysis of, that distance, how many, how many houses are inside like 1,000-foot strip, and they'll take that in consideration. They'll do traffic counters, they get the traffic volumes, they'll do the speeds. They'll get the 85 percentile speed. They'll try, typically you try to set the road to 85%. So I think they'll put all, you got to put all that, and then it comes down to, again, it's judgment, so.
And when you talk to the county, I heard you say that they said that they have a lot of requests for these. Did they give you a horizon or a timeline? Because I know that we have some citizens that are concerned that live on that street.
They did not.
Okay.
And I didn't truthfully ask.
What are you thinking? What's everyone thinking?
What I think Corey mentioned, right, that the county is looking for some type of letter or something from the town.
Resolution from the council saying like that to investigate further.
Okay. I think we should. I mean, our residents are concerned and
My own anecdotal evidence is completely in line with what Corey has to say. There are no sidewalks. There's a high density apartment complex on the street. There's a blind individual who lives there who walks along the roadway. Limited distance, limited size driveways. Cars are sometimes poking out into the roadway or parked along the road. And I've witnessed, multiple vehicles overtake other vehicles that are theoretically driving the speed limit because they're unsatisfied. So it's a two-way street, but it's a two-way street. I think regulating the speed a little more may control some, but it also may antagonize other drivers who are already overtaking vehicles.
Yeah.
To do that even more. So, the results of a study I think would be helpful, and I'm certainly behind.
If nothing else, it gives us more data,
Right.
right?
Yeah, I think a study warranted. I mean, the density there might warrant it a little bit more than some of the other county roads that are 35. So I think a study is valuable to be able to determine that. And I mean, worst case scenarios, if the county comes back and says the study doesn't meet that, then
Right.
at least we could say to our residents, well, we
A study was
tried,
done.
the study was done, it didn't meet the criteria.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, about 2 weeks ago, there was some tree trimming that was happening. And JP, to your point, I mean, it was very obvious. There were cones, law enforcement, machines, and people were still like zooming kind of around people. All right, so we'll do the resolution. Okay, so then the last one, Linwood Annex.
Okay, Linwood Annex, you should probably know, we did the ordinance a number of months ago to make Linwood Annex one-way directional, which went from in a southbound direction. The other one is from Church to Division and Division to Liberty. Okay, that was done for a number of reasons, primarily because of the width of the roadway. The roadway itself it's only wide enough for one vehicle in width. Another reason was related to some concerns that came from some residents about people using Linwood Annex as a cut through, coming from Liberty Street down to the parking lot areas behind, I believe the businesses now. It used to be was it social services building or something?
Social services, there's a medical.
Yeah, so they got that parking lot, right off to the rear of those buildings, off of Church Street. So the complaint was there's a lot of cut through traffic from Liberty to that parking lot area. So we after reviewing the situation, I made a recommendation to make it one-way directional traffic in the southbound direction from. I gotta make sure I always get the streets mixed around when I'm not being careful. Church to Division of Liberty. I did that to that direction. One, I believe that would cut down on the cut through traffic that goes from Liberty, through through Linwood Annex, but also the parking lot that parking lot has striping angled in that direction, so people could come off Linwood Annex and easily pull into a parking space. We went the other direction; it's opposite of what the parking spaces were striped for. So it'd just be a very awkward situation.
Corey, one other issue that some homeowners expressed was that if there were two cars coming down, that they were driving on their driveways and their properties and their yard and their yards. So
That goes
that was
back
the
to
other
the
part.
width of the roadway. You're right, though. If there was a vehicle going in the southbound direction, another one going to northbound, one vehicle would have to pull off and then went into the parking area or the,
Right.
parking space or the driveway for one of the residential properties along Linwood Annex. So that's absolutely correct. The issue is that I inadvertently, I did not account for there's a utility pole for one driveway, residential driveway along Linwood Annex that is causing some major issues with this residential property. There's a property at 25 Liberty Street. They have a driveway that comes out the back of their property over to Linwood Annex. And Mayor, I believe you were there with us the one day we met. And the property owner has an issue is because if that directional traffic, someone would have they'd have to come out of their driveway and make a right-hand turn to go the correct direction, the one-way direction. Problem with that, there's a pole right on the edge of their driveway. So the utility pole was prohibiting them to make a right-hand turn out of their driveway. So that what they had to do, they're making a left-hand turn, they're going the wrong way direction on a one-way street because they can't get to their house any other way, or can't leave their house any other way. I met with the property owners, I met with the utility companies to see about moving the pole. The issue of moving the pole is that it would have to be moved onto somebody else's property, another residential property. And we'd have to obtain at least easements from two properties, for that pole and aerial line. There's aerial lines on these poles. That pole has got electric, it's got cable, it's got telephone, and there's a lot of stuff on that pole. So and we'd have to remove a tree. There's a tree that would have to be removed as well. So it was becoming very, very big. It's going to get very expensive and a lot of work and effort to remove that pole. And I still hadn't even reached out to the property owner where we were going to move it to. So after looking at this a little bit more, talking to the property owners on both sides of that driveway, that the individual has that driveway, and as well as the property owner that originally started this complaint to begin with, it's my recommendation that we take the one-way directional off that section of Linwood Annex and allow that to be two-way directional traffic again. I still would like to keep the one-way directional between Church Street to Division.
Mhm.
I believe that'll help cut down to the cut-through traffic. If somebody come off of Liberty, even if they go down Linwood, they're not going to be able to have a do not enter sign at Division, and will not be able to go do that. And I think that'll stop that cut-through traffic from Liberty. But I think it's unfortunately, I think it's my suggestion we remove that one-way directional traffic from Division to Liberty.
You said you talked to some of the residents in that area?
We talked to the property owner that had the concern.
Very
Okay. It just happened that it's very interesting where the individual who had the driveway problem, his driveway opens up right across from the individual who made the original complaint about the two-way traffic to begin with, because of his concern was, the two-way traffic, pulling, they've struck, he's got a retaining wall in front of his property.
Mhm.
And he was concerned, that was one of his major issues to begin with. Okay. And if that house with the property the driveway comes out onto to Linwood Annex, making him make a right-hand turn out that had the problem with the utility pole, but also caused more problems with that individual with his cars parking in his parking space in the retaining wall. It was
Because
just
he had to go wide
Yes,
to make the turn.
yes, exactly. It's just become a major kind of conflict area. And I think like I said, I think we had good intentions, but I think it didn't account for that driveway. So I think it's my suggestion we remove that.
So Corey, are you saying that the property owner, not the one that has the utility pole issue, but across the street, which was the original property owner who came to discuss the two-way traffic there,
Mr. Struble.
right, is now okay with?
He's not happy with it. He still wants the one-way directional traffic. I think he felt better with that, but I think he understood the issue of that he was there when we actually met with the property owner
Mhm.
with the driveway. And the utility company was out at the same time, and he was there when we met with both groups, the property owner and the utility company. I think he understands it.
Okay,
I think he still would like it one-way directional because it's narrow. It's very narrow. It's not wide enough, but unless we get into major utility relocation work and easements and right away, the acquisition type work, It's not easily done. And I don't think, I think that cutting the traffic volumes from Division down to Liberty, cutting that movement, I think will help out with the volume of vehicles that use that cut through.
And so what I recall when we were on site, we also said, what if we flipped the one way? But that also would have some unintended consequences. Can you go over that?
Yes, if we flipped it going from south to north, Liberty to Division. That same property owner that had a problem making a right turn out, he now has a problem making a left turn in. I don't know if you can visualize that. It's like when he would make a left turn into his driveway, he'd have to make a very wide turn, and he has a problem with that pole. That pole's so close to the edge of the driveway. So a right out or a left in, you have the same problem with the utility pole.
And it basically requires him to drive onto the driveway of the neighbor
Yeah.
adjacent to that driveway, which is what they use to park their vehicles.
Correct.
And so it's not always an option to be able to
No.
drive on their neighbor's
You're
driveway.
right. If he doesn't have a vehicle there, he could make that turn, but
Right.
at that point, he's going outside of the right of way. I believe the right of way width from them is like 20 feet wide.
Yeah,
It's very narrow.
right.
The roadway itself is 12 to 15 feet wide.
Yeah. So I think that's an important conversation, right? Because we make a change trying to solve for one issue and it creates another issue. And I'm glad that that other property owner was on site when you were having the discussions with the utility companies, because like to make another change, then you have another situation, right? Another property owner comes out and says, wait, this isn't good for me. It's good for this person. But if you're saying that all affected parties are in concurrence with what should be done, I'm just going back to JP's point, do we need to make sure that everyone knows that with this change, what's gonna happen? It's gonna go back to how it was. But that it's the safest for the majority of the people or all the people involved.
I think when I left that property owner who made the complaint earlier, to initiate this, I think he understood the concerns. I have not followed up with him with the final saying, no, we're not gonna get into the relocation of utility poles and obtaining the easements and doing that. And taking the trees down. I did not go back to him with that information. Feel like I guess technically we can reach back out and let him know that's what we're gonna do. He sent us emails from the town and we can make correspondence to let him know that's what we're gonna do, if you feel better with that.
What's everybody think about that?
There's perhaps an alternative.
Excuse me?
I have a suggestion to make everyone potentially happy. Instead of it being a directionally controlled piece between Division and Liberty, and having a do not enter sign on the Liberty side, there are municipalities that have ordinances that define through streets and not through streets. Would we be able to replace the do not enter, to eliminate the directional traffic restriction and replace the do not enter sign with a no through traffic? This way, local property owners can access it from either way. But it then curtails through traffic down that street.
Councilman Coos, you read my mind. That's exactly what I was gonna ask.
It won't hurt. That's what's gonna happen with what my intent was between Division and Church Street, with having that a do not enter. But that's very easy to do. It's very easy to do. That sign, mine's gonna be, it'll end up happening that way, but you're signing it and making it happen. So I'm fine with that.
If we need to put the stop sign on both sides of the road, we probably need to put the no through
No through
traffic on
traffic.
both sides of the road.
I want to ask our public works guys first about kind of reaction to any of the conversation, but this idea of the no through sign.
Yeah, I mean, we actually thought that at times, that might be possible. There is some, I see it, traffic, so I think that'd be plausible. It's the guy that also has the driveway with the pole, also has a trailer.
Right.
So, I mean, you're making it really tough for him, almost possible.
I forgot that part. He
Yeah,
drives like a
yeah,
trip
yeah.
truck.
He does have a
Has like a
It makes
one
that
trailer.
even Bigger.
Right.
I didn't know he could make that swing around the pole with a lot of car movers. So.
What does that do from a law enforcement perspective? No through traffic.
It's not really whatever really works, that's the most reasonable answer. I think that's.
This is no through traffic, because Is that enforceable?
That's my question.
I think it's a local ordinance violation, not a Title 39
I
issue.
think you're right. I personally am not familiar with Title 39 on that, but granted, I don't, do we even have, I don't know many roads that we have as no through traffic.
I don't think we have.
So it's not something that we would normally write, but I mean, I can always look into it. I think you might be right about it, right? Local ordinance aspect of it.
If the municipality were to determine by its own ordinance a no through traffic, they could enforce it. Your problem is not going to be whether you can enforce it. The issue is, can you prove it?
Mhm.
I.e., I didn't see the no through traffic sign.
Even at the end of the day, though, I think the objective here is not necessarily
To deter.
enforcement, it's a deterrent.
Yeah,
Eventually enforcement, deterrent goes so far. I mean, as I said, if there is a no through street designation where literally putting up that sign is something more than just putting up the sign, then there is some teeth for the police department. Hopefully it will deter people, but
And theoretically, they'll also then encounter a do not enter sign when they just get the other side of the division. Between division and church.
so we need Corey to also tell us where the no through street is.
Yeah, I will. I assume you right now, we did the ordinance to go one-way directional traffic. And that's listed in your code. There's a section of code that says your one-way streets. So this would have, you almost have to do a new section because we don't have any no through sections.
Right.
Well, by the way, as long as you're doing that, if you got any others, think of it. Here it is. Here's the moment.
Corey, anything else?
So, yeah.
So we have a yes, an okay, and a compromise, looks like.
So not to open a can of worms, because I know this is gonna be a can of worms. Would Strawway Boulevard fall under this?
no, it's not
No.
a public street.
All right.
Just one word. Not a
I
can
know
of them.
it's been discussed ad nauseum before in historical settings, so just.
So, if I got this straight, then I'll work with Eric with the ordinances, for the three that we talked about tonight, the four-way stops and the modification to the Linwood Annex, that section to be a no through street option, and a resolution for support of the speed study for the county on West End.
Mhm.
Corey, the only thing I'd suggest in the resolution is if there is language the county would like to see in the resolution to move it up the proverbial list, maybe they should tell us what they'd like to see.
Mhm.
Okay. We'll do.
Not that it's a guarantee, but if
And since we're on this conversation, are there any other intersections, roads, right of ways?
Those are the main, that need to be addressed.
Okay,
Those two are the ones that those. I don't know, you really drive some of them around us.
okay,
Yeah, I think.
okay.
Okay.
Good.
Good.
Thank you very much.
Need me for anything else, Tom? Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
That's it.
Okay, we will move on to the approval of minutes. You received the September 10th regular meeting, September 10th executive session, and September 22nd regular meeting minutes. Any notes, amendments, changes, other than what's already been made? All right, do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
I will make a motion to approve the September 10th regular meeting, the September 10th executive session, and the September 22nd regular meeting.
Second?
I'll second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilwoman Diglio and a second by Deputy Mayor Dixon. Roll call vote, please.
Mr. Coos,
Yes?
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Diglio,
Yes,
Mrs. Teets,
Yes, but I think I would need to recluse myself from the executive session.
actually you both should be recusing yourself from the 10th. So it's an abstention for Councilwoman Diglio and Councilwoman Teets to the September 10th executive session.
okay, thank
If
you.
somebody remembered.
Mayor LaFois,
Yes. All right,
If I could step, just one street did come to mind.
okay.
Oh, God.
Wait, Corey, wait.
Corey, Got another idea for a street in another town.
Jefferson and Washington.
Hmm.
Jefferson Street and Washington Street. It's a combination of a one-way segment and a two-way segment and another one-way segment. But if you're coming from Spring towards Halsted on Jefferson, you encounter Washington Street, which is controlled, but there's limited sight because there are properties on all four corners.
And lots of power lines.
Three of the four corners and a lot of power lines. So if you're
A lot of power
traveling
lines.
that way, you run the risk of someone coming out of Washington Street.
Which one's the stop control? I can't. picture.
Washington Washington is a stop control,
Okay.
but Jefferson is not, but there's limited sight distance on three of the four.
I'll look at them.
Which, and by the way, when it goes Jefferson between that intersection and up to the school,
Right,
It-
that
it's a
turns
s-
into a woods, yes.
yeah, that also is a similar situation with no sidewalks, the cemetery, a school there. It, two-way traffic.
Look at it.
Okay,
Yes.
going once, going twice. All right, okay.
Try to get me.
JP will be up in the middle of the night with another one, I'm sure. All right, so we'll open the meeting to the public. At this point in the meeting, the town council welcomes comments from any member of the public on any topic to help facilitate an orderly meeting and to permit the opportunity for anyone who wishes to be heard. Speakers are asked to take one turn at the microphone and please limit their comments to 3 minutes. The clerk will keep time. If reading from a prepared statement, please provide a copy and email a copy to the clerk's office. After making your comment, so may be properly reflected in the minutes. The council may choose to comment on after the entire public portion has concluded. And we will look first to see if there's anyone in person who would like to make comment. Please approach the microphone and identify yourself and spell your last name for the record.
Good afternoon, good evening, actually. My name is Patrick Fay, F-A-H-Y, resident at 24 West End Avenue. I want to thank the council for their considerations this evening with the help with the town administrator and the town engineer. First off, I also want to thank the police department. A couple months ago, I came back down here with concerns. They did a yeoman's job. Immediately, the next day, I got a phone call from the patrol sergeant. He asked me for information. He would deploy his squad out there. They were present and they really did make a big difference. So I do appreciate their efforts. And as it was stated, you know, I do live on West End Avenue. Our street is a home to families with young children, elderly residents, dog walkers, handicapped people, as was pointed out as well. I agree that I'm a data-driven decision maker as well, and I would love to see that data. So again, I appreciate your support in that. From High Street down to, I say, Duma is my main concern. As you get over towards West Frieden, it does open up and it's more rural. But again, I do want to thank the police department. Again, they did a great job and I appreciate their support. And again, if the study does show that there really isn't a significant difference in dropping the speed, so be it. But again, you know, it doesn't seem like a huge difference on paper, but it can be the difference between someone being injured and being killed. So I, do take it seriously. And I know all of you do too as well. So again, appreciate your support.
So thank you for coming to a meeting and expressing your concerns, right? That's what creates the dialogue. And thank you also for recognizing the efforts of our police department. We look forward to sharing the results of the study and hearing them. And of course, they will continue to be part of the public conversation as we get them from the county, hopefully in a timely manner. Anyone else in the room? Tom, do we have anyone on Zoom wishing to make a comment at this time? All right, seeing none, we will move on to council and manager reports. Mr. Russo?
So a few items after the proclamations, but you have 4 proclamations. You have Eagle Scout Tyler Casper, one for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, Domestic Violence Prevention Month, and Dyslexia Awareness Month. Note those for the record. Also want to congratulate the town and thank Kat for her efforts. We received the Film Ready designation from the state of New Jersey this past week, and I sat in on their monthly meeting via Teams. Very interesting. Some fun facts, which I know the mayor loves these fun facts, and let's see if the council agrees. So there were 556 projects in the state of New Jersey last year for filming, totaling $833 million. The #1 studio was Netflix, $358 million. Disney Fox, 176 million, followed by various Apple TV, et cetera, et cetera. Next fun fact. Total unique filming towns in the state of New Jersey, 295. Movies are 70% of the genre breakdown, series and miniseries, 30%. Top filming towns in North Jersey, Newark and Jersey City. Central, Plainfield and Elizabeth. South, Atlantic City and Lower Township. Productions with the most filming locations, A Complete Unknown, 56. The Beast in Me, 46, and Happy Gilmore 2, 45.
Addison, place.
Speaking of Happy Gilmore 2, New Jersey's single biggest qualified spend, cast and crew, $50 million. Location fees, 18 million. Set design, 8 million. Extras, 6 million. Catering and meals, 1.4 million. Car rentals, 1.3 million. Hotels, housing, 1.2 million. Picture vehicles, 1 million. Ground transportation, 800,000. Police and firemen, 528,000. Wardrobe, et cetera, et cetera. Very interesting. Great group of individuals that are on the commission and active. It's a huge industry. They're looking at international production. So it was really pretty cool. And like I said, I'm happy and grateful for Kat's effort. She did a lot of the work to make this happen. So we also received in the past week our Sustainable Jersey Bronze certification. So kudos to everybody involved with that. And Jessica's office did a lot of work on that for us. And last but not least, I asked Michael Callahan, our best friend from the Department of Community Affairs, to come to the October 27th council meeting to talk about our homeless task force efforts. Also joining will be Barry Drager, who's the consultant I brought on board. As you know, we've made a lot of efforts and strides on this issue, and the county's involved, and a lot of the nonprofits are stepping up, and I appreciate their efforts. And I thought it would be good. Matt and Helen are aware of what we're doing, but I really want the rest of the council on the same page. So they'll come on the 27th, and I think it'll be good for the public to hear all the things that we're doing, because it's a lot of work, it's a lot of hours, and a lot of resources are going into this. But, you know, just on Friday alone, we housed 2 people. It took about 3 hours, and we identified, we found housing and implemented it. So kudos to everybody, police department and et cetera. So that'll be October 27th. That's all. Thank you, Matt.
Good stuff. I'll come back to that. Councilmember Coos,
I don't think it's time. Thank you.
Councilwoman Diglio.
Well, actually, we've been working on the holiday parade, so that's moving along wonderfully. And today I had the pleasure of going with the Primetime Seniors to Riverview for a show, which was very lovely. Primetime Seniors is growing, and anyone that's 55 and older, it would be wonderful to join.
Great. Councilwoman Teets.
So speaking of the primetime seniors, yesterday there was a event that was sponsored by the Recreation Committee with painting pumpkins. And I was there along with a few residents, maybe a dozen residents, I think mostly from Liberty Street. Or Liberty, yeah, thank you, Liberty Towers. And but afterwards I made a comment to Ken, for those of you who don't know, my husband, who turns 55 in December, and said he's going to join the.
He's gonna join?
Primetime.
Oh,
And
that'll be a
you know,
whole nother level of
get
energy.
get the folks out for these events and stuff. So the next pumpkin painting should be a sellout. We'll see.
Probably. That's gonna be a whole nother level of energy there.
Yeah, we'll see how that goes. But it was a nice event, and those that did come really did have a good time, and we have some really good artists amongst us, so it was a fun time. Yesterday we had the school board meeting. They recognized Lena Garris. She had a perfect score, and I don't have the right acronym in front of me, but it's the state certified test. She had a perfect score. Her whole family and everyone was there, so it was just like really nice, like recognition for her. And I know that that's a fun part for the school board, like it is for ourselves, when we get to recognize our folks. And Lena just has this smile that lights up a room and loves to do homework and loves to read. And the principal afterwards commented that she might give Lena, a day off from homework, and I don't think Lena wants that. So kudos to her, and she helps her other classmates and just sounds like a really good student and friend. So I look forward to seeing where she goes in the future. And the student liaison that they have for the board, she was there last night, gave a report on all the wonderful things the sports teams are doing and that the school is doing as well. So it's been Spirit Week, and this Friday night is the homecoming game, and their homecoming dance is on Saturday. So just wishing everybody that's attending homecoming to have a great time and be safe. Just a reminder again that the Newton Pride Foundation and partnering with the rec committee, again, I believe it is, are sponsoring a 5K. That's next Saturday. I registered if I can do it. So can everyone. So if you haven't registered yet, there's still time to register online, or I'll be working registration the morning of. So come see me at 7 o'clock.
That's great.
And then I did stop by the recycling center over the weekend. And Helen, I believe you mentioned this before with your husband Gregory, when he goes there, that he loves to see all the improvements, and that seems to be the hub of where things are happening. And I went Saturday for the shred event, and I like Gregory, I get excited when I go there. You guys are doing some great stuff. Compliments to our DPW folks and Debbie Danielson for her efforts. Debbie always gets excited about talking about how much tonnage and
Knows all the facts.
I'm just like, yeah, that's good. But it's good. I mean, people can really take probably
Almost anything.
80% or more of their household waste. So
And more to come.
yeah, it just keeps growing.
Yeah.
So, and I know that there's some renovations in the works, so that's exciting. Russo's Recycling Center is going to be,
It's gonna be epic.
it's gonna have a reputation.
Legendary.
Maybe we can make a commercial since we're film ready.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. Or a movie even.
Yeah. And then Helen and I both attended the RMC Performance Ribbon Cutting at 99 Moran Street. And that was on the end of September, like the 26th. Really super nice owners. And it's a really impressive garage area that they have there. They'll be fixing motorcycles and ATVs. And for our police department, I did ask them where they would test these and what time of the day they would test, making sure that there's no games or, extra traffic. But they do have that significant parking lot in the back. And they'll be able to utilize that. So we welcome them and we wish them a lot of good luck. And I think that's all I have for now. Thank you.
Thanks. Deputy Mayor Dixon.
Yeah, so the October planning board meeting's canceled due to lack of business. And then I know we're not gonna really jump much of this until the next council meeting, but I did want to bring up some of what's gone on with the homeless task force and what we've done. And I really just think that it's incredible the work that's being done right now. I think Barry and Mike Callahan from DCA have been instrumental in helping with this. Jessica Caldwell has done a phenomenal job with her work with it. And then obviously Mr. Russo and everything he's done in the police department, just how humanely and compassionately everything is being done. I mean, we could have went in there heavy-handedly and been like the summits of the world. And I mean, I'm proud that we're not. I'm proud the way we're handling it. It's great to hear that there's already been some minimal success. Obviously, it's called a sprint, but it's gonna be a long-term thing. But I just, once everybody hears it, I think you're all gonna be very proud with how the town's handling it and how much of an example it can be for the rest of the county. So
Agreed. Anything else?
That's all.
Okay, so on September 24th, Michelle and I attended the Newton Rotary's 57th annual golf outing dinner at Newton Country Club, and it was good to see a lot of Newton residents and longtime supporters of Newton Rotary, but also many business owners from throughout Sussex County and surrounding towns who attended the event to support. All very happy and very complimentary of things going on in Newton. So it was good to be there at that event. And then the same day, Matt and I attended Tom's Homeless Task Force All Hands, what I call an All Hands Update meeting. And I know that we're going to be discussing that more. And that evening, Tom and I had the opportunity to attend the executive session of the county commissioners meeting to follow up on the agenda of the day earlier. So more to come in the next meeting. I know both Matt and Tom have teed that up. But I agree with Matt that I think everybody's gonna be very proud of that conversation and the work that's been done. Along the same lines, on October 3rd, along with Barry Drager and Kimberly and Sergeant Pose, myself, we took about 2.5 hours and walked Spring Street and went into every business that we could to talk to all the business owners about what the task force is doing, the need for their partnership in these efforts, to hear firsthand what concerns they had, if of any, give them a preview of what is going on and really asking them, it sounds corny, but if you see something, say something. Because as Barry was so eloquently saying, the businesses and the community and everyone who reports what's going on also allows them the opportunity for those individuals to get help that they need in real time. So again, more to come on that, but I thought it was a good exercise and time well spent for the four of us to kind of walk the street and talk to all the business owners and people that worked in the businesses in real time, which was good. As Michelle said, we were able to attend the grand opening of RMC Performance. Michelle, they have both of our motorcycles down there right now. They're supposed to be done by Friday. We promised that they would go, so I'll report back, but service has been great. They even came to the house and picked them up. Yeah, it's another great business. It's open in town and they're super excited. They're not from town, but they purposely have chosen to have their business here in town, which is great. And they had all kinds of accolades to talk about why they chose the town of Newton for opening their business. And then the next day on September 25th, I had the honor to attend and speak at the grand opening of Project Self-Sufficiency's Nourish to Flourish Market Style Choice Pantry. So interesting, right? Because I was having some mixed emotions there as I was there, because we were talking about the duplicity of the human services nonprofits that we have in town, and many of them doing the same work, right? So you think about St. Joseph's Food Pantry or the county's food pantry, and now Project Self-Sufficiency's always had a pantry. But what's a little bit different about this one is that they have partnered with some of the farms to make sure that that the farm's food is not going to waste, right? So when we think about Hudson Farms and others, they're very proud of the fact that they have partnered with them, and the farms all spoke about their opportunity to donate, seasonal food. But what's different about this food pantry is that the participants who go there are able to actually shop it like a market, so they can choose healthy options and meal choices for their families, as opposed to, and there's nothing wrong with this model, but as opposed to going and receiving a bag of items that they didn't pick. So while I was there, prior to learning about all the details of it, I was like, gosh, is this another service that's being duplicated and resources being split? But their model is a little bit different. So, congratulations to Deborah Berry Toon and the group there. It is a beautiful space. And what I didn't realize is that I think for the last 11 years, they have a very active 100% volunteer ran like little farm. Like they have a garden, bless you. They have a garden where they grow a lot of the food that they use there in their daycare centers and their lunch, their services there. So if you haven't been to the campus of Project Self-Sufficiency in a while, go visit. They're doing a lot of great work. Couple days later, did have the opportunity to attend the St. Mother Teresa Food Pantry annual dinner and fundraiser. And again, food insecurity is real. And so we have a lot of good organizations in the town of Newton providing a lot of good resources, not only to Newton residents, but the surrounding communities. So we wanted to recognize that. And then as Tom talked about on October 10th, we did get our recognition for finally being certified as a film-ready community. Kat, thank you. I think the council had to go through what, 3 or 4, Tom, changes in order to meet the ever-changing requirements of the state. But I wanted to just add to what Tom said. And just today, there was an article that came out on ROI NJ that the New Jersey Economic Development Authority board recently approved $3 million in grant awards to 5 workforce development initiatives under the New Jersey FilmWorks grant program. And so these are going to be awards and grants that are given to expand workforce development training, internships, apprenticeships, and learning opportunities in film and digital media industry and all the supporting industries, as Tom mentioned, to be able to skill up or upskill to do the work to support the industry. So it is a serious initiative. For those of us that have been going to the league or who'll be going to the league this year, they have been talking for many years about the growth of this initiative. And I think it's going to be really great for New Jersey and certainly for the town if we can get some of that here, some of that film industry business here. Just quickly looking at my list. And I think the last thing I just want to remind everyone is that every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Is an open invitation to anyone who wants to join our town manager down at Penny Rose Coffee Company for a conversation, really about anything you want to talk about. Tom's got his coffee there from this afternoon. But if it's what the police department is doing, what's public works going on, what you want to talk about, what's going on in your neighborhood, what you want to learn more about what the town's doing, how your tax dollars are spent. There is no conversation that's off the table, right, Mr. Russo?
Ma'am.
Anybody can come talk about anything. So he'll even buy your coffee for you. So I encourage you to come visit Mr. Russo at 3 o'clock at Penny Rose Coffee Company on Spring Street to engage in good conversation. And I think that is all I have for tonight. No unfinished business? Oh, Michelle.
I'd like to just add that the lacrosse or the field hockey team, the girls field hockey team. So if anyone noticed that the chief tried to get out here as soon as he could because his daughter was playing in a very important game today and the team was losing when he left.
Oh, no.
But they came back and they won 5-4. So
Great. Good.
news on
They
sports.
yes, sports. Thank you. That's great. Okay, we'll move on to ordinances. We have a second reading and public hearing on ordinance 2025-19. This is an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement chapter 320 entitled zoning form-based code, most notably section 320-3 entitled definitions and section 320-25 entitled sign standards. We will open the hearing to the public. No comments in person. Tom, anyone online?
No raised hand.
All right, seeing none, we'll close the hearing to the public and I need a motion and a second to act, please.
I'll make a motion for ordinance 2020-19.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I will second the motion.
All right, I have a motion by Councilwoman Teets and a second by Councilwoman Diglio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coos,
Yes.
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Diglio,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets.
Yes.
Mayor LaFois.
Yes. All right, and we have ordinance 2025-20. This is an ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement chapter 320 entitled zoning form-based code, most notably section 320-3 entitled definitions and section 320-25 entitled sign standards. Yeah, this is a duplicate. Oh, 19, no, there's 19 and 20. So
An ordinance to amend, revise, and supplement chapter 100 of the town code of the town of Newton titled fees and costs, most notably section 100-21A entitled property maintenance code, referring chapter 213, article 2, close parenthesis.
So that's 25-20.
Correct.
25-.
Sorry, that was my bad.
That's okay. So I just wanted to read it as I had it and then have you correct it. So okay, we'll open the hearing to the public. Anyone in person? Anyone online?
Nope.
All right, seeing none, we'll close the hearing to the public and I need a motion and a second to act on the ordinance as read by council. 25-20 or 2025-20.
I'll make a motion to act on ordinance 25-20.
And I will second.
All right, I have a motion by Deputy Mayor Dixon and a second by Councilwoman Teets. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coos,
Yes?
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Diglio,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes.
Mayor LaFois.
Yes. We'll move on to the consent agenda. All items listed with an asterisk are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the town council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Mr. Russo, can you run through the 5 of them?
Sure. 224 is approval of execution shared service agreement for next year with Frieden for animal control. 225 is a chapter 159 budget insertion, safety grant from statewide for 5,783.99. 226 disposal of surplus property. 227 refund of taxes for disabled veteran. 228 bills and vouchers.
Any questions? Any requests to pull any of them off the consent agenda? All right, seeing none, I need a motion and a second to approve.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda as presented, sorry.
Okay, do I have a second?
I will make it, I will second.
All right, I have a motion by Councilwoman Teets and a second by Councilwoman Diglio. Roll call, please.
Mr. Coos,
Abstaining from check number 14152. Yes, other one?
Mr. Dixon,
Yes.
Mrs. Diglio,
Yes.
Mrs. Teets,
Yes.
Mayor LaFois.
Yes. All right, we will reopen the meeting to the public. Anyone in person wishing to make any additional comments? Seeing none, Mr. Russo, anyone online?
No raised.
All right, we will close the public session. Any additional council and manager comments? Okay. We do have an executive session this evening. This is resolution 229-2025. A resolution providing for a meeting not open to the public in accordance with the provisions of New Jersey Open Publics Meeting Act NJSA 10:4-12 under the definition of attorney-client privilege. Okay. No, you're good. Eric, did you want anything to say prior to going into executive session?
Pilot issues.
Okay,
Airline?
What?
Airline?
airline plans, yes. All right, do I have a motion to go into executive session?
I'll make a motion to go into executive session.
Second?
Second.
All right, we are going to executive session.
All in favor?
All in favor, aye.
Thank you.
Eric, do we need to make a statement about any business after?
I don't think there's gonna be any formal action, but we'll see what happens.
Okay. Thank you very much.